Also, authenticity takes time. And in my life, I rub people the wrong way a lot of time. I do it for a living. And but here's what happens. Time is my best ally. Time is my best ally. So people that may have not liked me for years, I win them over because they'll come over to me and say, Rick, you've always been a son of a bitch. I don't like you. I've never liked you. But you know what? You're the only one that never bullshitted me. Even my best friends fucked me, and you never did. So I like you and I respect you now.
With Dan, Dan, with Jen, 10. With Dan, 10, with Dan, 10, with Jen.
Rick, welcome to 10 with Jen, where I ask 10 out of 10s like yourself 10 questions in around 10 minutes to get to know you in a fun way.
Thanks, Jen. Happy to be with you.
All right, so a little bit about you. Rick Schwartz, aka the Domain King, is a pioneering domain investor who began building a premium keyword-rich portfolio in the 90s, one that would eventually command millions. His most notable sales include porno.com for $8.88 million, men.com for $1.32 million, and ireport.com to CNN for $750K. Rick also brokered a bold deal for candy.com, which eventually exceeded $12 million. As co-founder of the OG conference Traffic, and through his outspoken blog and X presence, he captivates and challenges entrepreneurs with his no-nonsense approach, helping elevate domains from mere digital placeholders to powerful business assets. How are you, Rick?
I'm doing great.
Rick, are you ready for your 10 with Jen?
I am.
Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Oh, why? Tell me.
Oranges, man, that'll double me over, and I'll have to take all kinds of antacids. A lot of acid in the oranges. That's why.
Do you believe domain name valuation can be fully quantified through data, algorithms, AI, and automation, or is it more of an art than a science?
Actually, I've always said it's the intersection of art and science. And, valuations, you can come all over the place. I start with a basic question when I'm looking for a valuation because most of my domains are geared for businesses and increasing sales. So my number one question to figure out what valuation is what is the lifetime value of a new customer? That's the main question to ask. What is the lifetime value of a new customer? And when a domain has type in traffic, you're going to be guaranteed 1 or 2 or maybe 10 or 100 new customers every single day forever. And even if it isn't, and you just have a high profile domain that's easy to pass on to other people and brand and advertise, you have a leg up on your competition. And again, it always goes back to sales, the value. And so I always targeted very profitable industries, high ticket, high profit industries, other than the candy.com, which worked on pennies, but pennies turns into millions if you do it right. Listen, if you're selling, whether it's cars or real estate or pinball machines, whatever you're selling, and you look at the profit, you sell one item, you multiply that profit by how many times they may repeat over their lifetime. And if you're just looking at one customer a day, you may be talking hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars over the course of, I always multiply everything by 10 years. So that's how I end up with my valuation, multiplied by 10 years. But besides that, you're not just buying that segment of it, you're also buying brandability. You're also bringing your world headquarters. It's your world headquarters. It's your front door. It's your back door. It's your receiving. It's customer service. It's everything. It's everything. So how much is everything worth?
If you're not in front of a screen, where would I find you?
Probably behind a wheel or in front of the TV or behind a fork and a spoon, probably, and a knife.
This actually is a good segue. What is your all-time favorite dish?
Well, let's see. If we were talking ladies, no, but we won't do that. Okay, my all-time favorite dish, I'm a pizza connoisseur, so I probably start there.
Yeah.
But I have a wide palate. I like a lot of good food. I really enjoy good food, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
We can start with pizza though.
Oh, what kind of pizza?
You know, when I was a kid, I grew up in the streets in New York for a few years. You get a slice and a Coke for a quarter. The best pizza in the world. Now it's a little bit more expensive, but it's still good.
The next question is from Amar Kuba.
Oh, I like Omar. We've known each other a long time.
What's the biggest difference between domaining today and 25 plus years ago?
I was really thinking about that yesterday, and people don't understand. Like, I started, it was a vast wasteland. There was nobody, it was darkness. I mean, imagine being in a cave and being blind, and there's complete darkness. There's nobody, and you have to kind of feel your way all yourself. There was nobody. I mean, you know, it was, you know, it was a ghost land basically. It was deserted. There was CNN.com. There was a CompuServe, which was almost very hard to navigate. AOL finally came along, and that was like training wheels, so you can have some graphical, so you can kind of figure out where you were going. But I mean, there were no people even using domain names really that much back then. Like I said, CNN.com was one of the very few. I go around the world, and that was always on. But other than that, there was nothing. It was very, you know, there was no Google at the time. There was no, most of the brands that we know today, none of them existed. And, you know, there was no, you couldn't even have anyone validate what you were doing. I think that was the most important thing. Imagine doing this, believing in something that you see, but there's not a person in the world that'll validate it. And the only people around were techies, and they were into 192.68.302.1, and domains were worthless. So it was oil and water. So you can imagine it was tough. It was very, very, you know, there was no aftermarket because there was no market.
Right.
You know, There was nothing. There was darkness. There was just true darkness is the best way I can describe it. There was, then the chat room started to come little by little. I mean, they had some kind of chat, but it was very kind of archaic and very tech oriented. I'm a businessman. I'm not techie. So that was completely, it didn't go with the internet because at that time they were all techies. That was it. So they were engineers and such, and they talk a different language than, you know, normal people do. You know, those relationships that were forged, you know, almost 25 years ago, they still exist to this very day. It was this really special group of people, very forward thinking, that saw something that really, really few people to this day on earth have seen and have been able to take advantage of. I mean, to this day, we're only talking a few hundred real, actual, true, full-time domain investors. There may be 100,000 people dabbling in it, but that core group is very, very small, and it hasn't really grown.
What is the most terrifying animal?
That's an easy one.
Okay.
Whoop. I hate palmetto bugs.
Oh, I don't know what they are.
They're giant roaches, you know, and in Florida, they're about like this big. But in Texas, they're about this big. I always say they wear saddles. They're very big.
No.
And they fly sometimes. That's my least favorite animal, if we can consider that an animal. They're big enough to be an animal.
What is your number one pet peeve in life?
I would say intellectual dishonesty. You know, if someone isn't real and candid, and they just have to bullshit their way through life, that's my biggest pet peeve. If they're honest, see, if someone tells me a problem, I can solve almost any problem in the universe. Really, I'm a problem solver. If you give me a problem, give me a couple of minutes, I can give you a solution. If you give me a couple of hours, I'll give you a better solution. If you let me sleep on it for 2 or 3 days, I will give you the perfect solution. So if someone's bullshitting me and not giving me the real scoop of what's going on, I can't help them, right?
Right.
But if they tell me what's going on, no matter how bad it is, I can figure out a solution.
What is the most unexpected adventure you've had while traveling?
So we were driving in, it was probably either southern Idaho or Utah, Arizona, somewhere up in there. And there was this meandering road. It just meandered. You could see it, and you were coming down a mountain, so you can see this road miles in advance. And there was this rainbow. And scientists tell you you can't be at the end of the rainbow. So I got to let you know, scientists are full of shit. The dashboard, it just danced in all of these colors. It was like you can't believe the energy. I'm flipping out. I'm going crazy. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can't believe what's going on. The girl I'm with didn't move her needle. I knew that was the end of the relationship. How could you be at the end of the rainbow and then not move your needle, right?
Yeah.
So there it is. I was at the end of a rainbow.
Love this. Were there leprechauns? No. You're stranded on an island with the Sherpas. Who would you eat first? Everyone normally just picks Drew anyway because they want to eliminate like the biggest like threat. But
Drew would be fun. He wouldn't be the one I would eliminate. What the hell, man? Are you kidding me? No way.
You two scare me. I don't think you two can be paired up. We'd all be gone. I don't think it would be Drew. I don't think it would be Amar. I kind of feel like, you may lean into like so we've got Shane and Braden.
It wouldn't be eating. It would be the preparing and the torturing. That would be the most fun part of it.
Oh my gosh.
So you'd probably want to have a really big hot pot of boiling water to start, right? And like probably slowly. Would you put them in head first or feet first? I don't know. Which would be more fun? But since you picked Shane, I'm going to go with your choice of domain, Shane, okay? It's your choice, and I'm going to agree with that. Now we're both going down with the ship.
What do you think success is?
Well, waking up healthy, having good people around you, having, your financial business in order so you don't have debt. Look, the financial part just makes everything easier. It gives you a little bit more power. It makes things more comfortable. It gets you out of jams. I mean, that's really what it does. It gets you out of jams. When you're in trouble, it helps. But other than that, if you don't have your health and you don't have your faculties and you don't surround yourself with good people. And that's what I've done in life. I've, gotten rid of negative people because, they're just toxic, and no one should be exposed to toxicity anymore. It's easy to, surround yourself with really good people with good energy, with good attitudes, and are intellectually honest.
Nick, thank you for your time today. You've now been 10 with Jen.
All right, I've graduated. The more effective you are, the more people you're going to piss off. Listen, if you're a failure, you don't piss off anybody because you sit in the corner and you don't do anything and no one cares about you and no one sees you, so you're invisible.
Yeah.
But if you try stuff in life, you're going to piss people off. It's just how it is. You're going to say something wrong, or they're not going to like how you look or your part your hair or whatever it is. It doesn't even matter.